I don't know. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this. I just don't. What do you mean you get it? You understand it? I mean, I'm grasping it. All right, well, you'll just have to explain this to me a little bit later then. Oh, hey. Hi there. I'm Jeff McAleer, the Grand Poobah of thegaminggang.com and the host of The Daily Dope. But I'm not doing a stream right now. Oh, hey, that's right. Dan Pancaldi's got a new episode of No Enemies Here. So why don't you kick back and check that out? I'm sure I've got a link around here someplace that I could... What? Oh, you're just going to wave a magic paw? Sweet!
Old School Tactical Ghost Front. Ghost Front is the second expansion to Old School Tactical Volume 2, covering the Germans' Ardennes Offensive of 1944. What you get with this game is one 30 by 41-inch mounted game board, 102 counters, 11 new scenarios, and here they go, a sharp-looking box to put it all in. Front Games, yeah! Magazine issue number 12. This issue, complete game is MacArthur's defeat. The designer, Arrigo Velikonja, takes on the 1941 Japanese invasion of the island of Luzon. And what you get with this game is a full sheet of 176 counters and a 22 by 17-inch game map. Compass Games, The War, The Pacific, 1941 to 1945. The game simulates the military, naval, economic, diplomatic, and political aspects of World War II in the Asia and the Pacific theaters. The complexity is high, solitaire shootability is good, the time scale 1 turn equals 2 months, the map scale 1 hex equals 46 miles or 75 kilometers, the unit scale fleets and task forces, air, wings, land, divisions, corps and army. This is a 2-player game, playing time 50 hours for a full campaign, 1.5 hours and up for the scenario. What you get with this game is 2 maps, 8 full sheets of 5/8-inch counters, approximately 20 full color 8.5 by 11 cards, rule booklet, scenario booklet, charts and tables, a deck of variant cards, 2 dice, and here we go, a box and a lid. The game is designed by Ernie Copley, developed by Joe Pilkus, and the artist is Mark Mahaffey. Dave of the Centurions review is unboxing Attack Force, a game designed by David James Ritchie, published by TSR. He's also unboxing another little one, Ice War, but designed by Keith Gross, published by Metagaming. Dave is also giving us a little showcase on Jacksonville, The Beaches of Doom. This is from Battlefield Magazine number 9, formerly known as Jag Panther Magazine. Dave also unboxes Marching Through Georgia. This is a game designed by Gary Selkirk. The artist is Rick Barber, published by Clash of Arms. Gilbert Collins takes a look at Triplanetary, the classic game of space combat, a game designed by Mark Miller, published by Steve Jackson Games. Jeff McAleer of the Gaming Gang is reviewing on the Daily Dope, The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31, a game designed by Joe Van Wettering, published by Mondo Games. Jeff also reviews on the Daily Dope number 246, Australia, a Mark and Wallace game published by Phalanx. Mo of Mo's Game Table is getting a little spacey on us with an unboxing of Apollo, the game of our first voyages to the moon. This is a game designed by Andrew Hayes. The artist is Vincent Van Hoof, published by Exoplanet Games. You know, let's talk about Mo's hat. You know, I FaceTime Mo once in a while, you know. We have a good time, we talk stuff, you know. And I always tell him, Mo, put on your hat. Major Tom Solo is doing a little playthrough, episode 1, of Warfighter World War II, a game designed by Dan Verson and published by Dan Verson. You think Dan Verson wants control? The OG, the original Grognard, is continuing his playthrough on A Second World War at Sea from Avalanche Press. This is part 2. Plus, the OG has a special Valentine's video just for you. I don't even want to say it, because I don't want to ruin the surprise. Go check it out. Tim Korchnoi of Bare Balls Wargaming has a video out on his new design on a carrier game. Check it out. The GIMPY Gamer is continuing part 7 of Thunder in the East, a game designed by Frank Chadwick, published by Victory Point Games. The strongman of war games, Rob of Rob's Tabletop World, is taking a look at Frank Chadwick's Command Decision 20th Century Miniature War Game, published by GDW. The Player's Aid are unboxing Hannibal and Hamilcar from Phalanx Games, a game designed by Mark Simonich, published by Phalanx. Grant and Alexander also review Talon, a game designed by Jim Crone, published by GMT. Alexander unbags Battles magazine, the independent wargame magazine, the most delayed magazine since Gutenberg. This is Battles magazine number 12. STUKAJOE has his third video out of the second Beyota Con in Badajoz, Spain. MAURO FAINA's unboxing Bologna, a wargame designed by Wojciech Zaleski. Check out the artwork on that box. That is by Rafał Zaleski. I don't know if that's his brother, his son, but awesome, awesome artwork. And in another video, MAURO FAINA does Analisi dei componenti, and that's in Italian, which means component analysis. MARCOWARGAMER Arnaldo is on a blitz with 3 wargame videos this week. The first one being Enemies of Rome, a review. This is a game designed by Grant and Mike Wiley. The artists are Sean Cook and Mandy Wood, published by Worthington Publishing. The second one being a review of Saratoga 1777, a game designed by Mike Wiley and Grant Wiley, published by Worthington Publishing. And the third being Mark Herman's Gettysburg review from the C3I magazine by Roger B. McGowan, The Battle of Issy. Kevin, CEO of the Big Board and Dictator for Life, has an interview, or a conversation I should say, which he calls Designer Deep Dive number 4, with Bruno Sinigalio, the designer of A Time for Trumpets. Also, the CEO gives us his first impressions of a post playtest of A Time for Trumpets on the Big Board. You know, why does he call it the Big Board? Very Freudian. The soft-spoken but formidable foe, Jonathan Townsend, is doing a print-and-play edition by a company called Pangenery, or it's in French, Pangendre. But this is The Second World War by John D. Power, 2010. Riccardo the Professor Masini, in his Warlog number 33, Part 4, and his Sijioka segment, Europe in Turmoil, a game designed by Chris Van Burden, published by Campus Games. Watch Riccardo's channel. So what? It's in Italian. You learn a little bit of Italian, you know, then you get all popular with the ladies. Or not. Hex 2 Red 1 Alpha is doing a vintage 1989 shrink unboxing of Victory Games' Fifth Fleet. Game designed by Joseph M. Balkowski and published by Victory Games. The itinerant hobbyist is unboxing Space Empires 4X, a game designed by Jim Crone, published by GMT. Itinerant is playing Heroes of Normandy from Lock and Load, and the scenario Saving Brigadier Hill. And he's got a special guest, the OG, the original Grognard. Itinerant is also giving us a learn-through on Saipan, the Bloody Rock, a game designed by Ross Mortel and Adam Starkweather, published by the people who give us a box and a lid, Compass Game. And talking about Compass Games, they are live! Episode 22 with John Krantz. BLASTPOP is taking a look at Wing Leader Blitz, short rounds quick take of a GMT expansion kit. A game designed by Lee Brimington Wood, published by the aforementioned GMT. BLASTPOP also takes a look at the games of Middle Earth, based on Tolkien's The Ring trilogy. This is War of the Ring. A game designed by Howard Barash, Richard H. Berg, Rob Mosca, and Linda Mosca. The artist is Redmond A. Simonson, published by SPI. You know, I used to be a Lord of the Rings freak, and I wanted to learn Elvish, you know? So I started learning it. Bloop, 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 and plee, plee, plee. Everything's very nice and floaty. But then I looked in the mirror, and I looked more like Gimli. You know? Anyways, whatever. ARDWULF! He's unboxing Ardennes 44, a game designed by Mark Simonich, published by GMT. Columbia Games and Combat Infantry, East Front 1942-1943, just announced their prizes and winners of the Scenario Design Contest. Check out their site, I don't want to spoil it. I'll tell you something, the winner just won $1,000. Paul Comben, the author of last year's A Dicey Business, will be releasing Even Dicier Business. This is a new book which takes a humorous look at subjects such as what passed as a war game in 1820, the social and unsocial side of the Games Club, conventions past and present. Even Dicier Business is to be released in late March.
roses are red, this D6 is blue, I've got a Wargame HQ update for you. This week on Wargame HQ, we published 2 articles. The first article that we published this week was called The Triumph and Tragedy of Triumph and Tragedy, which is all about the GMT Games release Triumph and Tragedy. Now, in this article, we're taking a look at some of the strategies that you use throughout the game. We're looking at the phases of the game and some things to keep in mind as you play. Now, this is more of a sandbox game that's a step up from Axis and Allies, but maybe not something as intimidating as, say, Cataclysm, A World at War, or World in Flames. But it's got that same strategic feel. So take a look at that article if you're interested in a game that has a great sandbox potential, some good card hand management, and something you can teach to your friends in maybe 15 to 20 minutes. The second article this week comes out on Friday, and that article is all about teaching Washington's War to children. Now, my son is 10 years old. He's actually starting a unit at school all about the American Revolutionary War, and I thought, what better game to teach him than Washington's War from Mark Herman? This is an amazing game. It's card driven, it has lots of strategy, but what it doesn't have is a ton of rules overhead. So you can take this game, find a great partner like another kid, maybe your kid, maybe some of your kids' friends, and get them around the game table. Now, my background is in education, so I'm going to give you a couple of tips for how you can maximize your teaching time. I give you some strategies and even a little kind of walkthrough of some ways that you might scaffold some of the concepts so that you can be effective in teaching this amazing game to children. Now, I'll be honest with you, my son got destroyed the first time out, but this game is so much fun, he was ready to go a second time around. So take a look, we got more great content coming to you at Wargame HQ, and remember, make love, not war. But if you gotta make war, stop by Wargame HQ and check it out. Thanks, this has been Keith on No Enemies Here.
Old School War Games and Worthington Publishing. Freeman's Farm, 1777. This is a card-driven board game on the Battle of Freeman's Farm for 1 to 2 players, playable in 1 hour. What you get with this game is a large mounted game board, American and British formation cards, tactic cards, rules, play rate cards, game markers, American blue wooden formation markers, British red wooden formation markers, Hessian green wooded formation markers, and 8 dice. Lock and Load's World at War 85, Storming the Gap. Storming the Gap is the first volume in the new World at War 85 series, a line of games centered on fast and furious platoon-level combat. What you get with this game is 7 counter sheets of over 600 counters, 3 maps, 19 by 13 inch, 23 play rate cards, 150 plus poker-sized formation cards, the 3-inch deep box, core rule manuals, module scenario booklet, 6 six-sided dice, 3 red, 3 blue. And because this is a Kickstarter, you get a hay of a lot more. TotalCon 33 Carpe Diem, February 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, 2019 at the Best Western Royal Plaza Hotel in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Let roll the dice of destiny. PressCon 2019, the Board Game Convention, Charlottesville, Virginia, February 25th to March 3rd. PressCon will be taking place at the Doubletree Charlottesville, 990 Hilton Heights Road in Charlottesville, Virginia. Harold on Games has an interview with Gene Billingsley. the CEO of GMT, parts 1 and 2. You can find Harold on Games now on iTunes. The Mary and Tom Show, episode 70 of Hollenspiel, is available right now. Well, that's the end of another show. Thank you to my patrons. Thank you to people who support me. You make me make this show more professional. So, with that said, bye! Columbia Games and Combat Infantry East Front 1942-1943 just announced their prizes and winners of the